So I may take a little longer than my mother, and I feel hidden behind the flowers, so I'm a little short, so I think I have to come out this way. And it's weird. I've seen Vera up here many times, so this is a little weird for me. Mom and Dad have 2 other children besides Michael and myself. Later on, you'll be hearing from Eric, an exchange student that lived with them for a while. But Karina is someone that's been a part of the family for over 30 years. And she couldn't be with us today because of the neck surgery, so she wanted me to read some thoughts for her. So it'll take me a little longer because I have to read hers and then I have to tell you mine. Right. So this is from Karina. To say Cecil Bonner was like a father to me would be a great understatement, due to the fact that he was the only positive father figure I ever had in my life. I met him when I was barely 16 years old, while I was residing at Palmer Home for Children in Columbus, Mississippi. He and Marybelle became my foster parents by taking me on weekends and holidays. They opened their hearts and their home to me, and they gave me a place where I felt wanted, safe, and loved. I don't remember when or even why I started calling him Pop. It just seemed to naturally fit him. He was always so strong and in all the right ways I felt a father should be. Strong in character, strong in integrity, strong in leading by example, but most of all, strong in how he loved and protected his family, wife, and children. He would not want me to express that he was a perfect person, but in my eyes, he was the closest to what I could imagine a perfect dad being like. I am not surprised to hear of all who have come to pay their respects to him today, because he truly was a good man. He was willing to lend a neighbor or friend a hand at any time, even before having to be asked. I have many fond memories of him sharing his time with me, if it be just to lend an ear or give me a gentle advice. He helped me come to a decision to go into the military after high school, since I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. And I'm very proud to share that we both are veterans. He wisely knew the military would teach me discipline, self-esteem, and a confidence I needed to be able to be strong within myself. It turned out to be the best thing for me, and he was right. It did teach me all those things and more. I will miss him dearly. He was my pop, the closest thing I ever had to a father and a dad. I will always remember his stories of growing up, how he would end up laughing about some crazy things he did and lived through. Thinking of his smile and laugh warms my heart now and always will. I love you, Pop. So, now on to my story. I visited with Mom and Dad in March because I felt like it was getting to that point where he may not be able to know me or talk to me. And so while I was visiting, Mom and I think we're out in the cemetery at Arbor Springs. And Mom said to me, she said, look there. She said, you know, life is in the dash. And at first it didn't quite hit me what she meant, but when you look at a tombstone, you see the birth date and the death date, and oftentimes that's all we know about a person. So in us doing a lot of our family tree, and I have a lot of relatives, forefathers, foremothers, you know, that long time ago. I know nothing about them other than the birth date and the death date. So I'm very thrilled about the fact that we're sharing stories about Dad today, because I'm sure I'm going to hear some I've never heard. And I want to share a few things that I remember about him that make him the man that he was. For example, a lot of people would say about Dad that he has character and integrity and this and that and the other thing. And he did. And he was a very humorous guy. So just a few things that I remember. For example, one night at dinner, the 4 of us are sitting there, and Dad very matter-of-factly said to all of us sitting there at the table, did you know that we eat over a ton of dirt every day? And of course, Michael and I are like, no, we don't. And so we argued, and finally Dad said, yes, we do. Right underneath our table is a ton of dirt at least. I was in the band in high school, well, junior high and high school, and my dad was very participatory in a lot of those things. And I will never forget him being in a womanless beauty pageant. And he was quite fetching in his 44 double D bra. He came in third runner-up. I was ever so proud. And I think the funniest part of that was watching Mom and all the other wives putting makeup on these guys. That was hilarious. My dad was a man of his word. I remember when Mom announced one day that she was going to quit smoking. And we all thought this was hilarious because she'd never mentioned it before. She, people had been after her for years to quit smoking, but she never would. And so one day she announced she was going to quit smoking, and Dad said, well, if you stay quit 30 days, I'll quit too. 30 days came and went, and at that time I was driving with Dad back and forth to Weyerhaeuser. I worked with him in the summer. And I watched that man smoke his last pack of cigarettes because that was day 30. And by the time he got home, it was to be done. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know what he was feeling, but he enjoyed every last cigarette. One thing I appreciate about Dad is that he never really treated me differently than Michael. If I wanted to learn how to shoot a gun, he was more than happy to. If I wanted to learn how to build something, he was more than happy to. If I wanted to learn how to fix a car, if I wanted to learn how to change the oil, he was perfectly willing to teach me that sort of thing. And so later on, I did not know that he was a good pool player. Apparently Woodrow had a pool hall that his granddad, or Judge Iverson, ran it for him. My dad would skip school at lunchtime and go play pool. So I didn't realize until later in life. And then he was visiting with me one time and we got to talking about this, and I said, well, we should go play. So we go down to a pool hall in West Lafayette, Indiana. And he's never been a person that, he was very competitive. So when he would teach me and Mike different games and things like that, he said, I'm going to teach you, and you may beat me on the first hand because I'm teaching you how to do it. But after that, you've got to win on your own merit. He figured that was the best way for people to really learn. And so he comes up to me as we're standing there at the pool table, and he says, you know, Julie, I'm not going to just let you win. I said, I know that. I've met you before. And I said, but Dad, mark my words, I will win at least one game off of you. And we played 10 games, and I won 3. And lastly, my dad's sense of humor was a little bit nuts at times because a friend of mine one time, she had trouble with a boyfriend that was showing up, and she wanted to not date him anymore. I said, well, I'll tell you, I'll give you some of my dad's advice. I said, next time he shows up at your door, walk up to the door with a shotgun in hand and say, hello, can I help you? As my dad said, if you make them think that you're just a little bit crazy, they'll leave you alone. So I appreciate all of this today. I'm really glad that we'll be sharing stories about him because I want his life to have more meaning beyond that dash.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There you go.